So Terry's been out for a couple hours at the point of recording this video, and I've already reached master rank with him. So today, I want to go over everything that I know on how Terry's supposed to work as a character, what his best buttons are to use in neutral, advantage, disadvantage, and how you can start abusing this character pretty much right after watching this video. Let's go over his neutral button first. All of his medium buttons are actually incredibly good. Like literally all of them. They're so strong. This move right here has like a million target combos you can combo into. This move by itself is also just a similar version of what like a heavy punch would be from different shoulders, like for example Akuma, Ryu, and Ken, right? So this button by itself, really strong, only 7 frames of startup, and it can link into like a lot of stuff. It can link into like shoulder tackles, it can link into every crack shoot that you want, and also it has several target combos that you can use and just abuse like that. Yeah, this move is really good. I like to use this one as a whiff punish or just as a general button that you can use like right here in the corner. His medium kick is really good as a poke. It's a phenomenal poke actually, and on top of it, if you do manage to get a counter hit on this, you can see right here, 3 hits, 2840 damage, extremely good for a poke. Just go into like a level 1. That's really strong by itself. So that is something that you will definitely be able to abuse every now and again if you catch people. And this crouching medium kick is actually one of the longest reaching ones in the entire game. This move by itself can link into several specials, especially because it can be hit confirmed. You can link it into this, and then you can do level 3, or you can do crack shoot right here on top of it, and then dash up to the opponent, right? So this move by itself can be hit confirmed if you're looking for it hard enough, and you can link it into a target combo for pretty much no meter usage, nothing, right? So that by itself is really good. Going into his heavy buttons, I don't really use them in neutral because they're all just close-up buttons by itself. His overhead's strong, and this right here is a good anti-air, but nothing really reaches in neutral. The one thing you can use is heavy kick. Heavy kick works by itself, and heavy kick actually as a punish counter is really strong because you can combo afterwards. This into power dunk. It's 2746 damage, really strong. As you can see again, the character doesn't really use much meter, which is really good in this game. There's not having to forcefully use a ton of meter is usually like a good sign for a character's health. Light buttons I usually don't use in neutral as well. I only really use this light kick very sparingly, and his light kick can link into his quarter circle backwards punch, light punch, which is also really strong by itself, just to like throw out if you have it. But other than that, his neutral pretty much consists of just everything medium and then the heavy kick. Going over some specials that you can use in neutral that are good. Power Gazer, you have 2 different versions. You have the medium version and the light version. The light version reaches really far, as you can see. It just pretty much ends where the opponent ends, and medium has a set range that it wants to have where it ends. However, this is just way faster than this, just in terms of travel distance and everything. So if this hits, you're pretty in advantage, and then you can try to get close to the opponent. Just really good against characters who try to do anti-fireball strategies. Cammy, Zangief, for example, right? Like characters that can just go over a fireball. Yeah, this right here just stops that pretty much. And then we have the heavy version, which is only really used as a close-up right here in order to either guarantee plus frames or guarantee enough advantage in a combo to continue. The knuckle by itself, so quarter circle backwards punch, is really good to use every now and again because if you do it properly, you can be plus. This right here is -2. If I go a bit further back here, I can actually be an advantage here and punish my opponent even for trying to do anything afterwards. Crack shoot, right here, you can go over fireballs with the heavy version. So if we have Luke right here, do a sandblast. As you can see, I can jump over it, as well as other fireballs in the game. For example, Ken, Akuma, whatever else, right? So it is possible to go over fireballs with this move in particular. That's what it's used for. You have an anti-fireball move. And crack shoot by itself is really good in Burnout, which I will show later. But mostly, if you want to just like have an ender and that is safe, you can use crack shoot right here, and then parry afterwards, or press like anything. Alright, next let's go over Terry's advantage state. And Terry's advantage state by itself, mid-screen, is pretty straightforward of what you want to do, and in the corner it's a bit more complicated. So one thing I would like to note is that all of Terry's buttons on block are minus. Even this button, which looks very much like it would be plus, nothing. This right here, -3, -2, -4, right? So as you can see, nothing that he really wants to do here is plus. So what can we actually do in order to pressure our opponent? Well, we do have an overhead that is really good. We can use that one after a throw, for example, anything like that. But other than that, we don't really have that many options. So the goal mostly for a mid-screen is going to be to get any random raw hit and then try to convert it into either a crack shoot or anything that is going to be able to give you like any sort of conversion. For example, if you hit a jab right here, I would personally suggest using quick burn because it puts in a situation where you can immediately throw the opponent. So this is going to be like your main way approach of trying to punish an opponent. Let's just say you're close right here. 1, 2, 3. Can't do that, right? So you got to do jab, jab, and then quick burn, and then you can get a strike from situation here. So you can do this, or you can immediately link into another jab, or even a medium punch if you would like. And then get the medium punch right here. It would trade if another frame forward occur, which would be in your favor. And then other than that, it's mostly going to be just resets. If you get any hit right here, would like to reset into like a crack shoot, that'd be really good. And then other than that, you can try to just get the opponent into the corner. This with Burnout, for example, the corner carry and Terry is pretty good. Like right here, dash up, get another throw scenario, and then if you do the drive rush, same exact thing. So by itself, he has a ton of moves that you're going to realize that are going to be reset scenarios. This by itself is not bad because it forces the opponent to be really active on defense. It forces him to try to DP out, it forces him to try to mash, which is really good for us because Terry by itself has a lot of good setup and good damage in order to convert, right? So if I were to, example, expose somebody for trying to like tech a throw, I could get like a whole meterless conversion like this. Something like that. Obviously this is unoptimized since it's day one, but you understand my point. This cost me 1 bar of drive gauge and I could have gone for like anything else here that would have done even more damage. However, my point remains, this is something that you can repeat over and over again, right? So you can just get to a point where you can just walk back afterwards, shimmy the opponent for it, and then get a very small situation like this, and then punish the opponent, and you will get this like over and over and over again because they have to do something. The opponent has to either DP, mash, or whatever. They're not just gonna sit there and block and just take every single throw you throw at them. It's not going to happen. They're going to have to be very, very active. So this is how you walk around his offense in the mid-screen. Now in the corner, it gets a bit more complicated because we don't have any way to really just rush down our opponent. It's mostly going to be consistent of just keeping the opponent there as much as possible and being as annoying as possible. So just forcing them to try to get out of the corner and pretty much destroy themselves over time. And then we can get what we want out of it. He doesn't have any plus frames, so you can't just like rush down and press like tons of buttons and just do like whatever. Like it doesn't really work on him. So the best buttons you can use here are a very far spaced heavy kick and medium kick. Those two buttons are really good. The heavy kick by itself pushes you back pretty far and also does chip away at the drive gauge solidly. Like right here, as you can see, gets you like almost a bar, especially if you press 2 of them, so it pushes them out pretty far. And then right here you can play around with his buttons that are already really good to just whiff punish, right? So for example, his medium button, really strong to whiff punish. This right here is good, and all of it is meterless. And the good thing is as well on Terry, if you manage to get anything here, you can also get extended combos in the corner, since you can link into like your DP a lot easier. Luckily, he also has throw loops, so if you do manage to get a throw, this is really good for you. You can just keep going over and over and over again, right? But it's mostly your pressure here is going to consist of, okay, I'm going to do this, power gazer, I'm going to do this in the crack shoot, and then I'm going to use parry or like whatever in order to get my opponent to like just get blown up, right? That's mostly what you want to be doing here. If you manage to get in with like a drive rush, even better. You can try to use plus frames and then create a scenario for you that's good. If you do get a scenario here that lands you into a medium punch, you can always link it into another medium right here and then into rising tackle, which gives you 27 frames. So you can like dash up and press a meaty button. Alright, like for example, your crouching medium punch, and then you can be plus, right, in situations like that, but initially you'll never get really those plus frames. Another thing I would like to mention is he has pretty good meter usage just like by hitting any button. If you manage to hit, for example, tackle right here, you can link it to level 1, level 2, no problem. You can get pretty much just raw damage from just doing like just whatever, right? Like right here, you can get free power gazers and do like 3,900 damage, stuff like that. As for his defense, he's a pretty standard character. However, the one thing that I did notice, he doesn't have a cross-up light kick. It's not something that exists. Usually most characters in the game have it. What he has is a medium button that's very, very hard to hit. It does work every now and again, but like, it's not going to work in every situation you're going to get it. So like, for example, if you're going to just jump out right here, you're not going to be able to hit anything. Here, for example, it will hit. But yeah, that by itself is not really all that great. There's other escape tools. He has a pretty good DP. To get out, he's a very solid DP. He has a really good crouching medium kick, as I already mentioned. And one of the things that's really good about him in particular is if you do manage to land your medium string right here, you can actually get a cross cut. You can actually get a cross up situation going right here. So if your opponent, for example, tries to go for a drive impact like this, you can get a cross cut. Like that, see? So the character by itself can actually cross up, which, you know, it's always a good thing if your character is going to be able to do that. However, it's not that easy to achieve. You're not just all of a sudden just randomly gonna get that, right? It's not just gonna happen. So your escape option is pretty simple. You have a good jab, which is -1. You have a crouching medium kick. You have a DP. Your level 1, 2, and 3 are all invincible. So if you want to use them, you can. Cross up is going to be very difficult for you just because this button doesn't really reach all that much from behind. It has a hitbox that hits from behind, but it's not going to be the greatest. So I think the thing about Terry that is the strongest actually is this Burnout. This Burnout is actually really good because of this. This right here, crack shoot, is literally broken, and I'll show you why. So right here, if we have it on block, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You can keep just looping this over and over, especially in the corner. And the only way you can get out as the opponent right here in these scenarios is to pretty much just have a level 1 invincible airborne reverse. If you don't have that, you're not going to be able to get out. And it also does tons of chip damage just by itself. Right? You can just keep going with this over and over. This is really, really good. And then you can eventually just force something on the opponent. You can harass even easier. And then if you do manage to get a hit, it's also a lot easier to just get a DP because, sorry, an overhead, because they can't just like avoid that. Burnout is actually what I think makes him really strong. Like, he's a very strong character in Burnout, in my opinion. And another thing that's good about him is his combo expression and decision making. So you have very different variants of how you want to use combos. For example, right here we have the option of going for something very simple. Right, like 2264 damage is pretty good. Or you can decide to go for a corner carry version like so, which pushes the opponent pretty much all the way to the corner with just one sequence. Right, so he has a lot of ways to just decide for himself like what he would like to do. If he either wants to choose damage that you can straight up do in certain situations, or what he wants to do for corner carry and OP, right? And he can decide to do that anywhere on the screen. This is one of the things that is really good for him, because right here, if I go for this combo, for example, I can link it into level 3 immediately. So if I want just straight damage and I don't need to corner carry, I actually have the option to. And this is pretty solid damage for crouching medium kick. 4000 damage, and like all of the specials I can use is not bad. One of the things I do want to mention as well, because you just saw me use 2 specials in a row, this tackle by itself, like the heavy version, can be cancelled into another special right away. So I can use whatever I want as a special, no matter what, right? As compared to the medium version, where even though I'm mashing right here, as you can see, I can't do anything. Whereas here, I can change it pretty much immediately the second I have it. So you can also be creative with that and be like, okay, I'm just gonna like use it for certain setups. So you can right here try to create a safe jump setup that you can use, right? Like right here, this will be a safe jump. The options by itself are very limitless, so you can choose how exactly you want to play Terry and how you want to set them up. So it will actually give you like player skill expression that not every character has in the game. Not every character has access to that. Some characters have to be played a very particular way, and that's pretty much how they're going to be able to play the game. Terry, on the other hand, is a lot more free flow. You can decide what you would like to do. Other than that, I just think one of his biggest strengths as well is just the lack of meter usage that he has to. In a lot of his combos, he wants to use meter in order to finish. However, if you're just play the game and just get like a couple of hits in, you can target combo into a lot of things. Like for example right here, you can target combo into that. This doesn't combo by itself on normal hit, but it does on, for example, counter hit or punish counter. And you have a couple other options here, right, which are just into like setups or whatever else you would like to have. So overall his strengths are, he has a ton of routes that you can choose from when it comes to like his mid-screen and corner game. And he is really good in Burnout, and he has a lot of ways to just do damage safely. That is pretty much like my overall review on Terry, and that is my overall guide on Terry. For combos and everything else, the combo trials are actually really good this time around, so I'm not going to be listing them and just being like, oh, these are all the combos that you should use, especially because I myself don't really use that many combos in order to get to master with him, which I will show you in the Rookie to Master series for Terry that I'm going to be doing right after this video. Overall, my thoughts on the character are, I think he's pretty strong. He's a very solid all-rounder character. Not for me though, he's not for me at all. Like I rather prefer playing Rushdown. However, he's a very solid character, so if you like his type of style, definitely give him a shot and try it out. Use the tips that I've given you in order to play him, and I wish you best of luck, and I wish you a great day. Alright, you guys have a good one. Bye.